Hello and welcome. Alicia, unapologetically you, and this is story time with Monez. So, like I promised, tonight's story, and happy early 4th of July again. Tomorrow's 4th of July. But as I promised, the story of the German Shepherd, who came up with the idea, where they came from originally, how they got their name, and so on, which was in the 1800s by Captain Max von hold on, Stephanitz. I apologize. I'm not good at speaking German names, so I'm sorry if I pronounce that wrong, but I'm really trying. So, anyways, Captain Max von Stephanitz, a former German cavalry officer. He was an officer in the German cavalry who was obviously retired because it says he was former. And it was in 1899. Okay. So he purchased a herding dog. Okay. That was the first dog he purchased, was a herding dog in Germany, and named Horand von Grafrath, originally Hector Linkscheen. I apologize if I'm saying these names wrong. Anyways, who became the very first registered German Shepherd and the foundation seer of the entire breed. So this one herding dog, who was the very first, he was the foundation for the breed. Okay, now he had three very strict tests that he would put certain dogs through. They had to meet these three tests, they had to pass and meet these requirements, or he wouldn't breed them. He was very particular in what he was looking for in this dog. Excuse me. So von Stephanitz' goal was to create the ultimate standardized working dog, okay, by selectively breeding local herding dogs. And from across all of rural Germany, he would choose these certain dogs. He valued intelligence, loyalty, and strength. Above all, strength. It had to be these three requirements. Um, Famously stating that utility is the true criterion of beauty. This is what von Stephanitz quoted. This is what he stated. He stated that utility is the true criterion of beauty. That's what he was looking for. That's what he wanted. To formalize his vision, he founded the Society for German Shepherd Dog. Okay, he was the founder in Germany. This is still in Germany. Now, I can't pronounce that name, but this all began in 1899, so it was still in the 1800s. And because of these dedicated efforts, the breed evolved rapidly from a simple sheep herder into one of the world's most versatile police, military, and service dogs. Now, in April 1899, okay, this was in April 1899, Captain Max von Stephanitz attended a dog show in Karl, I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Karl, Karlsruhe, Germany. There he saw a 4-year-old canine named Hector Linksheen. That's the first, in the beginning, remember, the first herding dog he bought. That was the name of the dog. Von Stephanitz was so impressed by the dog's wolf-like appearance, immense stamina, and high intelligence that he bought him right on the spot. He renamed the dog and he called him Horan von Grafeth. And I apologize if I'm pronouncing wrong. I'm trying. And officially registered him, the first breeding dog he bought, as SZ1, the very first entry in the new German Shepherd dog breed registry. Okay? Haran became the genetic template for the entire breed through extensive line breeding with the dogs that possess similar physical and mental traits. Haran's lineage was solidified. Sorry. Ah, sorry. I'm getting right into the trying to pronounce. I keep thinking everything I see. Okay, passing down his strong work ethic and protective instincts to future generations. Okay. And he was an officer in the military. So he prided himself in quality with these dogs. They had to be like above all, right? I mean, think about it. Military people usually are pretty particular in almost well everything, really, from cleanliness and you know just to their animals. So, all right, these were the three tests. Okay, he had, like I said, remember, he had three tests that they had to pass, or he would not breed. Okay, the first test, number one, the utility rule. He famously wrote, German Shepherd breeding is working dog breeding. Okay, so this was for a working dog breeding, okay? Or it is not a German Shepherd breeding. Dogs that could not work were excluded. So they had to have like the best work ethics, okay? We're talking about dogs here, not people. People should have excellent work ethics too, but he wanted his dogs to have just as good work ethics as humans. Okay, so that was very important to him. The second, the Schutzhund test. Okay, he created the very first Schutzhund protection dog trial. And that's what that means, protection dog. This multi-phase test evaluated a dog's tracking ability. So they had to be able to track, find people, animals, wounded soldiers, you name it. Okay. Obedience and protective instincts were also very important. So this multi-phase test evaluated a dog's tracking ability, obedience, and protective instincts before it was allowed to breed at all. And then the third one was standardization. He merged the best qualities of the heavy stocky herding dogs from the north with the leaner, more agile herding dogs from the mountainous south. Okay, so these weren't even in, they was like two different places, but this was still Germany only. He did not look outside of Germany. These were found in Germany. Okay, so they went from being, because then the war came out, right? So from farm to battlefield, as Germany rapidly industrialized in the early 1900s. Now we're going into the 1900s. This is like a year, later in the next into the 1900s, literally. So traditional sheep herding began to decline. Realize, Realizing that the breed needed a new purpose to survive, Von Stephanitz aggressively pitched his dogs to the German government for state service. Okay. So, one, police pioneers. In 1901, he donated several dogs to the German police force, pioneering the concept of modern canine units. They excelled at tracking suspects, guarding property, and, of course, protecting officers, right? Now, World War One. During the Great War, the German military deployed over 20,000 German Shepherds, okay? Over 20,000 German Shepherd dogs. They served as frontline messengers, ammunition carriers. They would carry the ammunition on their backs. They would strap it to them and they would carry it to the soldiers so they could reload. Guard dogs and medical locators. They would literally find wounded soldiers or even illnesses and sniff it out to help the soldiers be found, you know. And this was in no man's land, okay? They were sent, these dogs in this during this war, they would find these wounded soldiers in no man's land. Okay, there was like, yeah. So global recognition, this is when this began, and this was after World War One. So the global recognition, Allied soldiers fighting in the war, they were so impressed, so deeply impressed by the intelligence and bravery of these German Shepherd dogs. Just completely, utterly impressed. That many of them took some home, like some were taken home to the US and UK after the war, sparking the breed's global popularity. So that's when they became, was 1900s, 1901, after the World War One, because these other soldiers were just so impressed. They've never seen a dog that impressive, from intelligence to bravery and just everything that I just told you, that they wanted to take them home and you know use them there. So they did. Some were taken to US and some were taken to the UK. You know, um, the evolution of their physical look from the 1900s to today's standards, how they got their name changed. It's in Europe. Okay, World War One. I'm telling you, these dogs, like, it's not what I thought. So when we first got our German Shepherds over a year ago, we've had them for a while. You know, I think that's what sparked my interest in learning more about where they actually came from. Because I grew up on a farm. I grew up with coon dogs and just regular house dogs. I've grown up with every dogs from friggin' chihuahuas to coon dogs to, them hound dogs that Dad used to take coon hunting all the time. And beagles, pit bulls, Rottweilers. I mean, I have had huskies. I have grown up since I was little with every type of dog almost that you can think of, but never German Shepherd. But I've always been impressed and wondered, why do military and police stations use them so much above other types of dogs? Mostly they use them, right? But I never really looked into it till we got our girls. And I started noticing very noticeable different things compared to most dogs, even in dogs that, pretty intelligent from here. So that sparked my interest. That made me want to look it up. So I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? So let's see. Let's see what it has to say. Now, my memory is not the greatest anymore by age, so yes, I do have to read this to you because there's no way on earth I will ever remember everything or remember it correctly. Now, according to this, the anti-German backlash and the name Alsatian. Oh, no, no, no. This isn't talking about the dogs. Okay, so basically, I guess that's all it's going to give me on that. But that was the man that created the very first super intelligent, beyond any worth. Hold on, hold on. All right. Sorry for Shy's mouth. She decides to back at the worst time. But no, she's fine. She just heard the other one on the other side of the door and she gets jealous. And that's another thing, though, that confuses me with these girls that I don't understand is, I mean, I just told you about, the man that created the first German Shepherds. And that's how they got their name because they originally were supposed to be for herding sheep. They were from Germany, so German Shepherd. And then the war, and they had to be, so yeah, these dogs can do anything. They're almost like superhuman dogs. Um, they're not your typical dog. And I've noticed with these girls, okay, most even your veterinarians will tell you this, and I'm sure they have, you've heard this, that dog, they only know one word commands, right? Or, certain, not these girls. I swear to you, I have like tested them in many different times, randomly, many different ways, certain occasions, just make sure. And I swear they know more than most dogs. They want one word, commands, so you don't confuse them. They say like they only hear one or two words and then they, it's like, wah, wah, wah. No, not with these girls. I'm telling you, these German Shepherds, they are almost like on a human level. I don't even know how to explain it, but with these girls as long as I have, and the more I learn just from being with them and working with them, I don't know. They seem to know more. I mean, I swear to God, Jerry will be driving the truck. And it's a standard truck, mind you. So you got your clutch, you got your brake, and you got your gas, right? You got your three pedals, you got your stick to shift, right? Literally, I will watch, and Luna will be watching his every move of that foot. I mean, clutch, gas, brake. I mean, she's literally right. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she drove the truck one day. But no, yeah, no. But it was a joke. But, anyways, she has opened the door. She is sneaky. She snuck up on me, I don't know how many times. Not just me, she does it to everybody. You do not hear that dog walking behind you. You hear nothing. She will take off in front of your eyes, and she's so fast, she'll disappear. And then you're like, Lou, Lou, and you're calling to her, and she's literally standing behind you. And you turn around and almost fall over her. And she's just looking like, here I am. I mean, she's opened the door, my bedroom door, and snuck out and attacked the other one. So now we have to do a different method to prevent that from happening. She has locked my bedroom door when she gets mad. I'm telling you, the girls are just beyond most dogs. And I'm sure other people's pets that aren't German Shepherds have done little quirky things like that. But I don't know. It's almost like these girls, I don't know, it's different. I don't even know if that makes sense. Some people probably think, I don't know about that. Well, yeah, yeah. They're I could see them in a war, back then, because the way Luna and even Shy will sneak up behind you, and you, yeah, you don't hear them, and it could be so quiet you could hear a pin drop, but you would not hear either one of them dogs coming up behind you. They've done it to me. They've done it to all of us here several times, and I don't know. But they love to work, and I will take Shy out and have a rake. Now, the other day when I recorded that video, she wasn't in a working mood. But most of the time, when I say, let's go work, help mama, she will. I'll be raking and I'll say, pick that stick up or pick that rock up, and I'll tell her where to put it without even going over there. I'll just point where I want it to go, and she will go. And then before she sets it down, she'll look back at me like, is this the spot? It's almost like I can read her mind. And I'll either say, yes, that's right there, or I'll say it a little bit further, and she will go till, yeah. I swear to God, I've never seen dogs this smart. And I have had a lot of different types of dogs. So, yeah, very protective, very, very protective. I mean, they probably the best dogs I've ever had, ever. And well, they're not just mine; they're all of ours. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the more I read too, when I come across something else about them, I want to pull it up and read it because it just, I don't know. There's just things that these dogs seem to really spark my interest in learning more. So for the past year or so, I had just been every now and then, if something, I will Google it, or if I come across something, I'll have to read about it. But it's quite interesting. They're probably one of the better dogs we've ever had. So, and if you're interested, check it out. You know, he's a pretty interesting character. He really is. He was military, of course, so he had pretty high standards. He wanted what he wanted, and if it wasn't good enough, he did not breed him at all. Nope, they ain't having it. So, and that's why I came up with the idea I talked about in one of my other videos about also what made me want to come up with that type of collar with just a dainty small type box. And I weren't joking, I was serious. If I knew how to do that stuff or had any idea of how to go about it or even patent or anything like that, I would probably try. Or knew somebody, and split it, whatever, my idea for whatever. But I mean, I really think it's a good idea. I think it would work if the right person knew what they were doing, you know. I mean, I know they've got those things where they push the color or whatever and it says, stop or hello when the dog touches, I no, this what I'm talking about is a collar. Just a cute little collar for whatever type of dog you have and a little dainty box, nothing big and gaumy. And it just, I don't know, somehow would respond in human English or whatever language was using it every time it barked to translate from dog to human. And somehow, I don't know, but that would be a start. I don't know. I've seen a lot of these different gadgets and stuff, and this what I'm talking about is just completely different. Um, and I'm not really sure how to explain it, but if I knew somebody, I would sell them my idea for the right price. But it ain't gonna be cheap. But no, seriously though, I think that's a good idea. This what I'm thinking of. I have checked, and I have been keeping my eyes and ears open for years. And this is no, nobody's come up with this exact idea. So, all right, guys. In saying that, I spent a half hour. I am gonna go for the evening, but I love y'all. I believe in me. I believe in you. So be true to yourself. Don't ever let anything or anyone change who you are. As long as you're a good person and you're not purposely trying to be vindictive or hurt somebody, there's nothing wrong with you. And you're not weird. You're not different. That's just words that people use when they fear people and things they don't understand, because people fear people and things they don't understand. So instead of being more open minded and embracing and accepting and learning and getting to know, they choose to make fun of, talk about, put down, make you feel different, weird. You're not. You're beautiful. You're perfect. And I know not everything is perfect, so I kind of thought about that word perfect for a minute. But you know what? I think you know what I'm getting at. So, yeah. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Who cares what anybody else thinks? It doesn't matter. As long as you're true to yourself and being you and makes you happy and you're not hurting someone, you're all set. So until next time, I'll see you all next Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be EST my time. And yeah. And I will throw out some reminder shorts like I did before this one during the week, here and there, and give you a hint in those reminders of what the next story time with Monez at Alicia Unapologetically You will be. So I'll see you all next Friday, 8 p.m. my time. Love you all.